The law of cosines is used for solving non-right triangles with certain combinations of information. There are basically two cases in which you'd use the law of cosines, and we'll start with the simpler one first. In this problem, we know one angle, and we know the two sides around that angle. And what we want to know is the side opposite the angle. This is the classic application of the law of cosines. Recall that in this formula, the lowercase letters all represent sides, and the uppercase C represents the angle. The first thing we want to do is label the triangle ABC according to the formula, regardless of how it was labeled before. So the angle that is 73 degrees should be angle C. Angles A and B can be in either position, since the formula is symmetrical with respect to A and B. Now we label the sides with lowercase letters corresponding to the angles opposite them. So the side we're looking for is little c, and the 12 is little a, and the 8 is little b. Now we're ready to substitute those numbers into the formula, which gives us something that looks like this. The 12 and the 8 and the 73 are all in there. Now, c squared is the thing we're looking for, and it is already just on one side. So all we need to do now is take the square root of each side. This whole big expression can be typed directly into your TI, and the TI will do all the work for you and tell you that side C is 12.32 centimeters long. Here's an example of the other situation in which the law of cosines is helpful. In this problem, we know all three of the sides of the triangle, and what we want to know is one of the angles. So in the formula, we'll be substituting numbers for all of the lowercase letters, and we're going to be solving for the cosine of C. As we did last time, we should start by labeling the triangle, and the angle that we're trying to find should be angle C. Once again, it doesn't matter which of the other two is A and which is B. Now we need to label the sides based on the angles opposite them. There we go. Now let's take the formula and substitute in the 7, the 10, and the 8. And that gives us this equation here, where again everything is known except for the cosine of x. So we need to solve for cosine x. So the first thing we'll need to do is subtract the 10 squared and the 7 squared from both sides, which will give us this equation. So we now have c squared minus a squared minus b squared on one side and 2ab cosine x on the other side. Now in order to get cosine x alone, we need to divide each side by negative 2 times 10 times 7. So let's do that step. Now we have this big fraction, which is equal to cosine x. Here's where the calculator comes in handy, because what we have is that x would be the inverse cosine of that big fraction. And you can type this expression exactly this way into your TI, and it will give you, assuming that you're in degrees, it will give you 52.6 degrees.